Hey all of you, hope you guys are great. So in the last video we have built all the functionality to create liquidity, fetch data, all those things we have done in our context file. Okay, so we are almost done with this entire context file, and we have also done with the entire utility folder. We are done with the smart contract, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize the application, and we're going to do a little bit adjustment in our UI part. So let me show you what I mean by that. So first thing we have to do is I have to initialize the local node, otherwise it will throw an error and I would not able to connect my MetaMask. So just me wait. So here it's started, and I'm not going to deploy any contract right now. We're just going to first work on the UI part, and we'll make it a little bit responsive, and we're going to adjust the entire data. So we can come here and let me close this one. It will open the application, and here you can see the MetaMask, and here we are getting this error. Can you guess why we are getting this error? Because we are calling an address which don't exist. So for to fix this, all we have to do is come here, go to this context, and here we have to comment these functions. So first we have to design the UI, after that we're going to connect that. So first simply close this one, and here we have the data. So what I'm going to do is, these are the data we have, the addresses we have taken. So right now none of these addresses exist. So here we are fetching all the information. So what I can do, I can simply grab this entire function, and whatever we have written, this is the liquidity, and simply comment this, and let's see why I'm getting this error. So this looks fine to me. Here we have that, and we have to comment this part as well, comment this one as well. If you come back to the application, and here you can see we got an error. If we reload the page, right now we don't have an error, the error is gone. Okay, so hope this entire things make sense to all of you guys. And let's click on this token, and if I click here, you can see we have the hard-coded data here, but we're going to use an API to fetch the pricing. But let's start working on the pool sections. So if we come in the pool section, here you can see right now the tokens are not displaying, but we have to make it responsive. So if I do in the responsive mode, you can see this is how it look. It's not responsive. So first we're going to make it responsive, and then we're going to attach all the functionality. So to do that, what I can do, I come back here, and I'm going to close this context, and first thing we have to do is to go into the component section, and not the component, page section. Inside the page we have this pool, and in the pool page we have to import couple of data. So let's start with here first. So here we are importing the account address, and we need more information. So let's come back to the context, go back to the context, and here we are exporting all that. So we're going to import the data. So the first thing we need is this create liquidity, and that's what I want. So I'll go back to the pool page, and here I'm going to pass that. I need this function, and I also need the token data itself. So I can come back to the here, and I can just give me this comment. So okay, so I can have that. I need the data, this token data, copy that one, and that's the data I need here. My niche is crying. So that's the data, and we have to get all liquidity data. So let's come here, we have the function called get all liquidity. So we have to get that data as well. Simply come here, and that's what we're going to pass it here. So these are the data we are getting from here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new state. So let's come down, we'll take close pool. Initially it would be false. So the reason why I have taken this, that I have to show you the liquidity data. So once the user is connected, then only I have to show you this liquidity data. Otherwise I don't want to show that. So for that I have taken this one. And now I have to send the props into our ad pool. So first thing we need is the address, the account address. So that's what we're going to send it here as a props. So this is the first piece of data we have. Now we have to send the set close. So grab this one, and the second one is going to be this set close. We're gonna send that, and the third data we need the token data itself. So we already have the token data, so grab that one, and that's what we're going to send here, paste here. So that we have the token data, and we have to send the function as well. So this is the function we have for the liquidity. We're gonna send that as well, add liquidity. Okay, so these are the data we are passing in here, and let me close that. So these are the data we are sending as a prop, and we can also send this one. So simply grab this one, set close pool, and that's what we're going to say send as a prop here. And we have to send the liquidity data as well, so let's come here, get liquidity, and that's what we can simply send here. And that's the props we are sending, and that's the only thing we have to do in here. Hope this entire thing makes sense. So here we are getting the data from our context, we are taking this state so we can say the display the dynamic blocks, and here we can, here instead of account we can change this to close pool, because this time we're not going to look for address, we're going to look for the close pool. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Now let's have a look on the CSS. Let's see what modification we can do into this. So this is the pool page. Let's come here and let's go to this pool, and here the only thing we have to do is to add the media query. So we'll say media query, and this will become only screen. In that we're going to set the pool width is going to be something like, let's say, I don't know why my image is not working, so we'll say width is going to be, let's say, 95% for a mobile device. And that's the thing, that's the only thing we have to do here. So we are done with the CSS. Now we can come back to the pool page. We'll start with this pool connect. So click on this, and in this we're going to receive the props. So if I come here in the pool and let's receive the props, copy that one, and that's what we're going to receive as a prop. Come back here and we need to receive this liquidity data as well. So right now we don't have, but let's set that. So that looks fine to me. We have this data. So we are getting this data. Come here, let me simply console log out. Right now we don't have that, but let me do this so we can see the data is flowing or not. So we'll say get liquidity, we have all the data, and this data is getting repeated when I was testing. So for that, to fix that, all we can do is we have already built the function to stop that repeating data. So we have these functions, all we have to do is to simply grab that one and we can come back to this connect, and that's what we're going to utilize it here. So once we have that, simply copy this, and that's what we're going to replace and simply pass here. Hope this things makes sense to all of you guys. Still, if you have any confusion, try to understand what we are doing here. So that looks pretty fine to me. And here we're going to attach the function. So this is the function we have created, set close pool, and that's function we're going to call it here. So let's come here, we'll say on click, and on the click event I want to make this to true. So I want to open a liquidity component. So that looks fine to me. Now what we can do is, so let's come here, let's come to this, and here we are sending pool connect. We need a account as well, so simply take that one and we can come here, we can pass the account as a props. So we have the account. Now that's what we can receive it here. Close this one token, and that's receive the account. And here we're going to display the dynamic block. So let's come here, we're going to take that and we'll take this account. So we'll say if account is there, then we want to display this component, else we want to display this component. So the component we want to display is this one. Simply cut this one and simply paste right up here, hit enter and paste in here. So this is the component we want to display when the user is connected. But if the user is not connected, then we want to display this. But if user is connected, then we want to display this. So we can come here, and in that we're going to first take a div. We'll take a div, it will have a class, and the class name we want to assign is, let's say, style dot box dash liquidity. So we have this. Inside that we're going to have another div, it will have a class, and in here we're going to take this style dot pool connect liquidity dash header. Inside that we're going to take a p and we'll say your positions, and here we will display the data. And remember the data we have in this token list, this is an array. So here we want to display the length, we'll call say length. So it will display the length of how many liquidity this user have created. So that's the first thing we have to do. Now we'll come here and we have the data. So we have this token data, this is the entire array we have, and that's what we're going to call it. We'll say map, it will be element slash I, and we have to simply return straight away. And then we're going to build the JSX which we want to display. So we'll take a div, and we have to close it. I don't know why my image is not working. So this will have a class, and we have to take the class to be style, and let's call this class to be something like liquidity dash box. So this is what we can call to our div, and inside the div we'll have another div, it will have a class called style dot liquidity dash box liquidity dash list list. Inside the list we'll have a paragraph. Inside the paragraph we're going to take that, display the data. So before that data I'm going to take a small tag, and this small tag And this small style will have a class because we want to mark the, like we have to give a special style to our icons. So I'll say something like mark, and in this mark I'm going to display the token. So we have this element dot, and we have the pool example. So this is the data will come in the form of, so we'll say pool example on the example token 0 dot name. And if you don't know from where we're getting this, make sure to watch these scripts which we have written. So if you come into the utilities, we have written this script. This script we have written. So make sure to check this. It will make sense that from where we're getting this data. Okay. So let's close this check liquidity script and let's work on the J6. So we have the data. We have the data now. I want to assign a space. So let's give the space now. Let's come down here. We're going to take another small tag, and this will have the same. And I'm going to replicate it because I want to have the second icon. And here I'm going to display the token 1, second token. This looks fine to me. Now let's come here. We have the space. Now here we're going to take a span, and this span will have a class. So generally we'll have a two class. So let's take it. We'll say style dot, and we'll say paragraph, and we have another class because I want to hide this in mobile device. So let's say style.hid hide, and inside that we will display the data. So the data we have into this element dot, we have the pool example. So we have display the, and we have display the name. So let me grab that because this is what I have in the design which I have built, and in that I'm going to display this and this. Grab this and paste here. So hope this makes sense to all of you guys. If you still make any confusion, make sure to code along with me. Everything will make sense. Let's come here. We have to assign a space. Grab this one, replicate it, copy and paste, and this time we need to have only one class. And in this we're going to display the fee. So instead of putting all this, we can pass the fee. And the fee we have inside this. So we'll replace this, we'll say element.fw fee. So that looks pretty fine. So we are getting all the data which we want to display, and that looks pretty good to me. Now we can continue ahead. So here we are. Let's take another paragraph, and here we're going to display the range. So this range will have a class, and in this range we say style, and the class we want to assign is something like, let's say highlight, and this will have the text called in range. So this is the range. This is the range come out of the div, and we have to take another div, and this div will have a class, and here we're going to take our style. We'll call it something like pool liquidity dash list dash info. Inside that, we're going to take this paragraph, and this paragraph will have a small. Inside the small, we have to display the minimum price. So let's go with the hardcode value, and we'll say something like 0.999, something like that. We'll come out of that. Here we will provide a space. Come down, we'll take a span, and in this span, we're going to display the actual information name of the token. So the name of the tokens we have here. So we have already taken that. So we grab this one, and that's, so if you visit Uniswap, this is how they have construct. So I'll say per, and we can provide a space, and here we can display the second token. So paste it, and here we have to change this to, this one is 1, and this one is become 0, the first token. So that looks pretty good to me. And here we have to take a span, and in this span we're going to simply take the space, and here we're going to take a small tag, and in this we have to display the max price, which is something like, let's say 1.000. Provide that. Once we're done with that, come down, we'll take a final span, and in that span we're going to have a class. This class will have the style dot hide, and it's hide dot heat. Inside that we're going to display the same data. So simply grab this one, copy that, and that's what we're going to paste here. The two tokens. Hope this entire thing makes sense to all of you. S-H-H-I-D-E, hide. And that looks pretty fine to me. No more problems we have here. If you come down, these are the buttons we are displaying, so no changes need to be done here. So that's the entire things. Come here, simply grab this liquidity, and that's what we're going to style right now. So go to this, go to the CSS file, and from here we can start writing some CSS. Let's call it new CSS. Inside that, we're going to take this border 1 pixels solid, and we'll have our green color. Then we'll have the border radius, GHT height is going to be 0. So make sure to do this. This is the first one, and now we can come down, and here we're going to target the list. So this is the one we have here. No need to do anything in here. Target the list. Come back here. In here we're going to target first. We'll say display is going to be flex. We'll target justify. Content is going to be space between, and we'll take the align item is going to be center, and we'll make this line height to be 0. So that looks pretty fine to me. Copy, and that's what we're going to paste here. So things like good number we have in here. So that looks fine to me. Now let's come here. We have the one more class mark, and this one will have the background color to be our primary color. Now we'll have the second color is going to be our second primary color. Now we have the padding 0.5 ram. We'll have the border radius will 0.5 ram. That looks fine to me. No more problems we have in here. So that looks good. Now we have to target the para. So we have the para in here. So we have assigned the para class. Para class, come here. Let's come down. We'll target the para class. In this way, going to say font size is going to be something like 1.2 ram. We'll make a highlight. So we have taken this highlight class. So is it highlight? Yeah, we have this highlight class. Copy that one and come here. Come down. We'll make it something like background is going to be our primary. Then we'll have the border radius will have 0.5 ram. We'll have the padding is going to be 1 ram from top and bottom and 5 ram from left and right. Then we'll have the color to be our second color. This looks good. Now let's add a media query so we can make it responsive. And we'll say media only and max. Width is going to be, let's say 35 em. In that we're going to take this height property. So the height class we have taken, and we'll say display is going to be none. Display none. That's the one. And now we're going to target the box info. Now we're going to target this. Now we're going to target this. And now we're going to target this. So we grab that one. We'll target box info. Come down here, and here we have to something target that, and we have to line height is going to be, let's say 1. We have to make it width is going to be 100% on a mobile device, and this will become the font size. Font size is going to be 0.8 RAM. That looks fine, pretty much. So we have written all the CSS. All the CSS we have written. This looks pretty good to us. And so we close this one. Close this. Close this. Parent body is looking fine to me. Now this is also looking good. And now we can start working on this add tool. So click on this add tool, and here we have to receive the props which we have sent. And here we have to receive the props. So let's come here. These are the props we are sending. So we need to have this set tool. Get that one. That's what we're going to receive here. We need to receive all the data. We need. So what's data we are transporting? So we need the token data. We need the liquidity function. So this is the function we have, create liquidity. That's what we're going to receive here. So these are the states we are receiving. Now what we can do. So these are the min and max price we have taken, and this is the new states. So in here we're going to take a couple of state variable, which the first one is going to be, let's say, use state snippet. We need to take the fee. The fee user wants to provide. So initially it's going to be a 0, or fee. Yeah, let's make it fee 0, and we'll take another one use state, and this will become something like slippage. And the initial slippage I want to assign is close to 25%, because this is most of the transaction follow. We'll take another one, and this will become the deadline. And initial deadline time is going to be 10 minutes, but you can modify. We'll have an option for that as well. We'll take a use state snippet, and in that we're going to take the amount the user wants to provide liquidity. So we'll say token amount 1, and initially it will be 0. So we replicate that, and this will become 2. So I'm going to simply change this to 2. So these are the states we have taken. I hope these things make sense to all of you guys. And now what we're going to do is, now we need to take the token data. And as I can see, if we come here, if we go to this, close this one, and go to this home section, and here we have built the functionality already. So we're getting all of these data. So what I can do, I can simply copy this, and that's the same state I'm going to utilize it here. So I can come here, and I will simply, I can simply paste here. So here we have the token data we're going to take from the user. Okay, so we'll have the name, image, symbol, token balance, and the address to make the transaction happen. That looks pretty good. And that looks pretty good to me. And if you come here, these are the fee sections which we have defined. In that, I want to do a little bit modification. So the modification I can do is, I can say, come here, I'll say fee system. The reason why I'm taking this fee system and this fee, because this data is only for displaying, but this data will actually do the transaction. So 0.05% is equal to 500. Hope this makes sense. And do the same thing for the other. This one is 3, so it will become 3000 with 10, and it's actually a 1%, so it will become the 40. So these are the only changes we have to do. Save it, and we're going to need this function. Remove that one. Now open this function. Inside that you can see we have this, and here we have this arrow left. So here we're going to call the function. So here we have imported this function set. So where it is, here we have got this close set pool, and that's what we're going to attach it. So when someone will click, we want to close the pool component, and that's what we're going to attach it here and say on click. And on the click event, I want to close it down. So I'll turn it to false. So hope this makes sense to all of you. Just do the modification we are doing here. And this is the pool data, this is the clean. And instead of clean, what we can do is we can display the actual data of the token which users are selecting. Okay, users are selecting. So that's what we have here. Now what I'm going to do is, this is the image which we have. So instead of this, I can simply remove this text, and in that I'm going to display the token data. So I'll say token 1. I'm going to display the name. If we have the name of the token. If we have the name of the token, then display the name of the token. Otherwise, we don't want to display anything. That's the logic we are building here. And here we have to display the price, the token, and here we have to display the token balance. So we'll have the token 1.token balance, and we have to slice it down. Slice, and I want to display only 9 characters. So we'll start from 0 and we'll go to 9. If it doesn't have any token, then we won't display nothing. Hope this makes sense. We're not doing anything else. We're just following the simple thing. And here we want to assign the space. Let's provide one more space, and that looks fine. So we have this 2 space. Once we're done with that, we have to do the same thing for the other token. Grab this one, and that's what we're going to place here. And this time it will become 2. So this will become 2. I know modification is very hard. It's always hard. So we have this, the data for displaying. Now simply close here. Here we have the function. No changes we have to do in here. So come here, select price range, and this is the one. So we open this one, and in this we don't have to do any changes. So this is the pair we have, and we have a div, and on this div we have to attach function. So we'll say on the click event, we want to simply call this set open model, and I think we don't have that function. Okay, so we have the slippage. This one is let's call it 1, and this will become 1. So we bring it down, and this will become 2, and this one will become 2. Initially the value will be false, so we grab that one, and that's what we're going to call it here. So where it is, okay, this one, and then we have to send it. We have to call it true because we have to open the model, and that's fine. And here we have to display the actual data. So the data we have into the token, so we have the data into the token 1 dot, and we want to display the name of the token. If we have the token, then display that token. Otherwise, display the default value, which is the ETH. That looks good. Now we have to simply grab that one, come here, and here we go to do the same thing for the width, and paste here. This will become the 2, and this will become select. So that's the changes we have to do, and we don't need to do any changes in here, but we have to do changes in the fee list. So let's come here in the fee list. So here we are setting the active state. What I'm going to do is we're going to wrap it, and here we're going to take the fee the user wants to charge. So wrap it into the bracket with this comma. We call it set fee, and in the fee we go to pass the data. So we have the data element, and in the data we have this system fee, because this is the fee we need to make the transaction happen. So we have the fee, and that's the changes we have to do. That's fine. This is the information we're displaying, and let's come here in the deposit amount. So in the deposit amount, here we have the input, and then we have to take it number, and the placeholder will define the price, the amount the user has. So what I would say in this, I'll take this token 1 dot token balance. Token balance, we'll use the slice, and we have to slice the entire number. So this is the placeholder, and inside this I have to add an on-click function. Sorry, on-change function. So add an on-change function because we want to get the data. So we'll say and we'll call the function set token amount 1, and we have to simply pass that. So e dot target dot value. So we have the amount which user want to do the transfer. So simply copy this entire info and do the same thing for the other input. So this is the second input we have. Second input we have, simply replace this one, and here we have to do the changes. So instead of token 1, we have to call it this 2, and this will become 2. So this will update the data. Now we have to remove this one. So that looks fine. And here we have to change that. So this is the first one. In this we're going to display the token 1 dot name. If you have the name, otherwise we're going to default the default is ETH. And here is going to be the full name. So in that we're going to assign the space. We're going to assign the space, and here we're going to display that data. So we have this token 1 dot symbol. If we have, otherwise we want to display ether. Hope this things make sense to all of you, and we don't need to show the balance because we're already showing the balance in the input field. So to remove this one, and that looks fine to me. So we grab this one and do the same thing for the other token. So we don't need this. Replace this one, and here we have to change this to token 2. Select this one, make it 2. And instead of this, I can display the, let's say, here we can say city select. Okay, that looks fine to me. No more problems we have in here. So this is the input component. Come to the right section, open this one, and here we can see we are displaying the current price. So right now we don't have the current price. What we can do, let's add the token first. So we'll say token 1 dot name, and we'll say default is going to be ETH. And here we're going to say grab this one, copy and paste. And this will say ECT select. And this one is the second token. So we'll say 2. So that's fine. Right now we don't have this hardcode value here. So this is the right sense, looks good to me. Now let's come to the price range. So this is the price range. What I can do is I can simply get rid of this prices because we don't need it. Instead of this, we're going to take this like input field. Take an input field, and the type is going to be number because we are taking a number. Now we have to set the, let's say, placeholder. So the placeholder would something look like this because this is what the value I want to display. This is the placeholder. Then we want to set the minimum value. So min value is going to be something like this. So it will start from 0.00 because you should provide options like this. And the step I want to have is, so I don't want to increase 1, 1, 1, 1. So I don't want that. I don't want that behavior. So for that I want is to go like this. Both options the user will have. So it go into the decimal or it go in all form as well. And it will also have a class. So let's assign a class. So we can say style dot pool add box dash price left dash range. Okay, so that's the class we have assigned to this. Now this class will also have an on-chain function, so we can take the value. So we'll say it will say this e. Now we have to take the value to this, so we'll say e, and then we're going to call the function. So we'll call set min. First we are taking the min price, and in this min price we're going to set the value. So we'll say e dot target dot value. So we got the first input. Now simply grab this input, copy this input, and that's the same thing we have to do in the second input. So here we're going to simply remove that, and here we have to set the, let's say, set max. So it will set the max value. Hope this thing makes sense to all of you guys. If it's still you have any confusion, make sure to rewatch. And here I want to change the name. So this will become the token 1. So we'll say token 1 dot. We have to display the name. If we don't have the name, then we want to display this. Default value say ETH, and this will become something like, we'll say token 2 dot name, and we can go select. That looks pretty fine to me. Now so we grab this one, copy, and the same thing we have to do in the other part. So we scroll down, and here we have to replace that. So that looks good. It's looking perfect. I think we are now going. I think we are growing. So that looks perfect. So that looks perfect. We are doing all the modifications now. We can start working on the button. And this button is going to be really huge. So you can see this is the called full range. So we have the button. We have the button. I don't want to have two buttons. I want to have one button. So let's remove the one button. And here we have the one button, right amount. And instead of enter amount, I can say add liquidity, because that's what we're going to do. Liquidity. Okay. And on this liquidity, in this button, we will attach the function. So we'll have the function on click, and it will have the function. It will have the create liquidity function we have created. So what is the name we have given? So if we come up here and you can see this is the function we have imported, create liquidity and add pool. So we grab that one, pause it here, and that's what we're going to simply initialize that. So that looks good to me. Where it is, where we have the button. So here, okay, let me scroll down, and this is the button we have now. So we can pause it here, and here we're going to save this. So we have to send the data in the form of object. So let's come here, let's send the data. So first data we want to send is the token one. So we'll say token, we'll say 0, and in this we want to send the token. So we have the token, one we have inside the token we have the token address, and then we have the token. And then we have the token address. This is how we have constructed the data. Okay, so that's fine. We have our first token. Now we can simply replicate the second token. This is the token 2. We'll say 2, and this will become 1. So this is the 2 token. Now we have to send the fee. So we have the fee inside the fee. Now we have to send the token price. Token price 1, and this token price 1 we have inside this min price. And we have this another one is the 2, which is a max price, and this will become the 2. So the 2 token prices we have now, we have to get the slippage. It will take the slippage, and we have to pass the slippage. We have to pass the deadline, and we have the deadline. So the deadline is there. Now we have to set the amount of tokens. So we have the amount, token amount 1, and in that we have to set this token amount 1. This will become the token amount 2, and this will become token amount 2. So these are the information we are taking for creating the liquidity. So hope this makes sense to all of you guys. And let's scroll down, and here we are. In this we want to send data. So this is the first token we have. First thing we have to set is we have already sent this prop. Now the second thing we have to send is the set slippage. So we want to take the slippage data. We have to take the slippage data from the user input. So that's the function we want to send here. So we'll say set slippage. That's the one we are set. Now we need other thing, and we have to take this slippage as well, because we want to display in that what's this slippage the user is providing. So this is the slippage. We have to take this deadline. Now we have to take the set deadline, we have to check send deadline. So these are the props we are sending into our token to get the information, and now we have to send a couple of information in the search token as well. So first data we are to send that we are sending this token data, and we have to simply remove this. If we come here, we have taken this tokens. So if we come here, here we have taken that. So this is the function we have to call it. Grab that one, scroll all the way down, and this is the prompt we're going to send into the search token, so we can get the information about the token. So you can come here, and here we're going to say EOKENS tokens. Don't forget to add the S, and that function we're going to send into this for the token one. Now we have to get the token data. We have the token data, and then we're going to send the prop. So in this, we're going to send the token data. So token data. So the token data we already have it here. If I come up here, we have written so many codes. So this is the token data we have, and that's what we are sending here. So let me come down all the way down here. So that looks pretty good to me. These are the two props we are sending. First we are sending this, then we are sending this, and we need one more component. So here we have to do the changes. So you can see this is the open model, which is absolutely good, no problem in that. But if I come here we have taken this open model 1, open model 2, because we want to take two search component. So here we're going to say open model 1, and that's what we're passing here. So in this we're going to say set open model 1. So let's come here, what I have called. So we have this search open model, that's what we're going to call it, all the way down, and search open model. So this is for opening the model 1, and simply grab this one, and we're going to replicate one more time. So this will become the model 2, because we're displaying two token component, and this will become the, so we'll take this and we'll say 2, and here we have to say 2 as well, 2. So that looks fine to me. Make sure to do these major changes, otherwise it won't work. Now we can come back. So that looks pretty fine to me. But before we go into the search component and token component, let's do the modification in the styling, because we have created a couple of things. So this is the add pool add. Let's come here. We can go into this pool add CSS, and here we go to write the CSS to do the little modifications. Okay. So let's come here. Let's call it new CSS and comment this. This looks good. And in this we have to do the changes. So let's cut this one and bring it up here. And here we have to do the couple of changes. So first changes we have to do is position is going to be absolute, and we have to assign a background. So the background is going to be something this, our second primary color. Then we have to assign insert, and this will become, let's say 0, 0, 0, 0. So everything 100%. Then we have to say display is going to be flex. We'll have the justify. Content is going to be center, and we'll have the align item is going to be our center. And the last one is going to be the border. Border 1 pixel solid, and we'll have our primary color. So that's the changes we have to do in the token class. So this is the class we have taken. So if you come here, we are adjusting this token class, and this token class. That's what we are styling. Come here. Now we're going to target this. So now we're going to target this. The input field we have changed. So this one, and that's what we can decide. Copy, come here, and that's what we're going to target. So we'll say. So this will be, we'll have a background color. Our primary color will have the border is going to be 0, outline is going to be 0, and we'll have the width is going to be 80%. We'll have height is going to be 2 RAM. We'll have padding is going to be 0.2 RAM and 1 RAM. And we'll have a border radius is going to be 0.5 RAM. That looks very fine. These are the changes we have to do. Now it looks good. Now let's come here. We have to write the media query. So we'll say media only, and we have to assign the classes, and we'll say max width. We go to 35 here. So that looks good to me. Now first we go target this pool price dash price. Okay, let's see, we have assigned the right one. So we have this is the one we are targeting. Copy that one and scroll all the way down here. So that looks pretty good. Okay, right, give the right class. First we say display is going to be grid. We have the display grid, and now we have set the grid column is going to be 1 FR. That looks good. Come here, we have to close this one, otherwise it will throw an error. So that looks good. Now we have to get the token box dot price dash left token info. Inside that, we'll say display is going to be flex, align item is going to be center, we'll say gap is going to be our 1 RAM, and background color is going to be our second primary. Border radius is going to be 0.5 RAM. We'll have the color is going to be our second primary color, and we'll have the padding is going to be 0 and 0.5 RAM, and font width is going to be 700. So that looks pretty good to me. Come here, and now we have to grab the token. So simply do one thing. This is the token we have taken. Grab this one, copy, and come down here. And that's what we're going to trigger now. So we have this positions, we'll have the background color, and the rest of the property will be the same. So we're going to remove this align item, this one, and here we have to do the adjustment. So I want 50% here. I want to decrease the height. So convert it to 2%. I don't want to create any conflict. And that looks pretty good. And these are the major changes we have to do to make it responsive. And that looks pretty fine to me. That's the CSS. We're done with that. So we close this one. And this is the one. This is the component. And now we can start working on this token model, because these are the components. These are the data we have to receive here. So simply click on this. And here we are receiving the prop. So let's receive the prop very quickly. So this is what we have to receive slippage. We have to receive the slippage. Set slippage and slippage, both the one we have to receive. And we have to receive the deadline. And we have to receive the set deadline. Okay. So these are the changes we have to do. So grab this one. Grab the slippage, come here, and here the user is going to be setting the slippage. So this is the input field. So here what I'm going to do is, in the placeholder, I'm going to define the slippage. So I'll say slippage. No, not a replicate one. So I'll simply copy the slippage, and here I'm going to define the slippage in that. So where it is, here, in the placeholder. And it will have a on change function, and in this I'm going to take the slippage data. I'm going to set the slippage data which user want to provide. So slippage. And then I'm going to simply say e.target.value. So I get the slippage which users are providing, and here is the slippage. So this will be the, let's say, DEAD, deadline, time. and I have a input. So this is the input I have. So in this placeholder, I'm going to display the deadline, and here I'm going to call the deadline function. So we'll say on change e, we'll say set deadline, and then we're going to simply set the deadline target dot value. That's fine. Okay, hope this makes sense to all of you guys. So we are getting the slippage, we are setting up the slippage, and we are doing our stuff. And here we are already opening and closing this. So this is good. We have set the value. Now we can close this one, and now we can start work on this search component. So here you can see we are receiving this couple of data. So do one thing, click on this search component, come here, and here we have to receive the data. So we are reading open token. So let's see what data we have passed in open token. It's okay. Then we have this tokens, and that's what we have passed tokens. And let's come here, and here we have the token data. So we copy that one, and that's what we have passed here token data. So that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Hope this makes sense to all of you guys. Now simply close this one because we don't need this pool data, and here we have to do the modification. And here you can see here we're getting the token data, then we're replacing it, and then we're simply displaying here. And here we are sending all the data from the token. So make sure to do this major changes, and that's it. Things are looking fine. So we have done the changes, all the changes right up here. So if we come back to the browser, I know we got an error, so that's not a big deal. So this error is happening because we don't have the data, and the data we try to log. Okay, so we don't have the data. So let's simply comment this out. So this looks fine to me. Close this one, and that error is happening into this. So if we come here, this is the correct one we have. And what I can do is, and here we have the output. So let's click on this pool connect, and the error is coming from here. So this is the place where we are getting the error because we don't have this data. So what we can do is, for the time being, let's clear this one and close this, and simply comment this one for the time being. Comment this, and you can see this is the border. So we are getting this error into a CSS file, which is module pool connect. So this is the error we are getting. So let's come here, and we have to get into this pool, and this is happening in line number 61. So where it is, here we are having the problem. So you can see this is the error we are getting. So we come here, and we can say border 1 pixel solid. We will have our this color. If we come here, reload the browser, and you can see we will have no error. You can see everything is looking good. We have no error because we have simply comment out this portion because here we are displaying the data, but actually we don't have it. So if you come here, if you click on this, you can see here we got it, and actually we don't have the data of these token 1 symbol, and we are trying to display that. So token symbol is not a function. Token 1 is not a function. Okay, let's see where we are getting an error. So let's come back to the close this one because we have no more issues in this. We have no more issues in this. So we have the problem in here. Click on this, and we are getting an error from here. So line number 196. Where it is, here we are, 196. So this is the error we are getting. You say, okay, my bad, it's not a function, so we remove this, it's a data. So save it and come here, to the browser, and you might have everything's working fine. You can see if you click on this, here we are, and still we are getting an error, and this error is coming from placeholder. So line number 224, line number 204. So this is coming from here, 204, place, token, and placeholder. Okay, here is spelling this is token, T-O-K-E-N. And this looks good. Number error we have now, come here, to the browser, and see the change. That looks good. Click on this. Here we have the problem, it's a symbol. Okay, my bad, I have called this symbol. And let's see what else changes I need to do to make things working. Okay, I think that was the only problem we had. Let's give it a try, and you can see right now it's working fine. Okay, if you click on this, we can go back. If you click on this, we can come. If you click on this, we have this, and here we will display all the tokens. If you click on this, we can close. If you click on this, it says that set open token model true. So set open token model is not defined. Okay, so we have a problem in here, so we can fix this. Not a big deal, we can easily do that. So it's coming from 120, it's coming from add pool 120. Add pool 120. So add pool 120, come here up. 120 add pool. Okay, this one is not defined. So here we have that, and here we have to choose the changes. We come 2. And that looks good. If you come here, let's have a look one more time. You can click on this, you can open that, you can select the token, yeah, close it, you can select this, and you can close it. If you click on this, from here you can able to get the data, so that's fine. And right now we don't have that pricing, so it's displaying nothing. Okay, this looks fine to me. You can increase, you can decrease, and you can see the pricing is in, you can pass 1, or you can give the value in decimal also. So that looks fine. Everything's working fine. So let's come here, come to the code. So things are looking good to me. Now, what we can do is, now we can deploy it. So let's close all of these, and let's see the responsiveness of this token. So if we can make it responsive, and let's see how it's look. You can see it's 100% responsive. Right now we don't have any data, so you can see the error is at 0. It's nothing there. If you click on this, it's 100% responsive for mobile device. You can click, you can search it, you can search the token, you can open the slippage, you can switch it on, select the price range, and things like that to me. But things will look even better when we have the actual data. So everything's looking good. Now we can simply come here and close this one, and now we can start deploying the contracts we have created. Okay. So if we come down here in the script section, so we'll start with this contract, and then we'll create the token. So open up your terminal and stop the application from running. Hit enter, clear your terminal, come here, close it, and clear your terminal. So first thing, we have to delete this artifact. So we'll type npx hard hat clean. Okay, it's clean. Now we have to run the internal blockchain. So it's running. It's running, no more problems we have so far. Now click on this, here we have initialized that, click on this, and here we have to run the scripts. First we have to deploy the contract, this Uniswap contract, we'll paste here and hit enter. And just wait, it's look good, it's compiled successfully. Here we got the token, just wait, and here, boom, here you can see we have all these addresses, Uniswap contract addresses. So what I'm going to do is, let's come back to the deploy token script, and let's keep it from here. Okay, So that looks good. That's look good. Now what we can do is close this one and come back to the utility, because in utility we have this deploy pool, and here we need the address, this two addresses. You can see this is the two address, v3 factory and non-fungible manager. So first we have to get the v3 factory address, and that's what we're going to replace. But this time I got the same addresses. This is the non-fungible manager, where we have it, manager. Simply grab that one, and that's it. So we got the addresses, so this one is ready. Save it. Now simply clear it, and now we have to create the token. So to create a token, we have this is the script we have to initialize. Save it, and let's simply paste that. But before we deploy the token, I have noticed that I forgot to do the changes. So if we come to the deploy, because you have noticed that we have done the modification in our token contract. So if we come here, the newly token contract, here we have done the modifications. So we have to do a little bit modification in the deploy token as well. So here you can see, here we have to do the modifications, then we can deploy that. And here we have to do the modification. So what we have to do is we have to simply remove this, because right now we don't need to pass anything, because that's what we have initialized in our contract. So if I come here, if I show you the contract, you can see this token has the number of token we want to generate. Okay, so simply copy this, and that's what we can into here. And first thing we have to pass this pop. Okay, things are look good to me. We don't need to pass the owner, because I'm going to be the owner, because I'm deploying it. Same thing I have to do from here as well, for the Ryan token and for the Schwab token, and that looks pretty fine. And these are the only changes you have to do. Right now we don't need the signer, and we don't need even the owner, but let it be there. Okay, let it be there in case in future if we want to do any third-party transfer, so we can utilize it. Okay, so that's the changes you have to do before you deploy the token. Now simply copy that one, open up your terminal, and here we have to simply deploy the token. Close this one, close this one, and here we got the token. The token address is, simply copy that and come to this script first and deploy, and here we have the addresses. First we're going to keep it here, and close this. Now we don't need this scripts. Now we're going to work on this. So we have these addresses work fine, so we can come into the first thing. So this is the deploy pool. In this we only need this one, so we'll come back to the context, and in the context what I'm going to do here, we can see that here we have the addresses. So instead of these addresses, I'm going to simply remove it. Not remove it, I'm going to simply copy it, and I'm going to replace that. This is the one token, this is the second token, and this is the third token. We have the tokens. Now simply grab this one and remove it. So we got the 3 token which is there. Now look fine to me. So this looks good. Bring the terminal down a bit. Here comes down, and here we have to simply uncomment these portions, because right now things are looking good, so we can fetch the data. So uncomment this part, and we have to uncomment this section as well. So this looks good. The function will work absolutely fine, no more error will have. But I have to deploy one more contract. So if we come back to this, close this one, come back to the script and come back to the deploy, here we have this user contract. Okay, so we have to initialize this contract as well, because we are storing the information of the liquidity into this. So let's deploy this one as well, and then we can check. So this is the script we have. Let's open it up, and we'll get an address. So we'll have to run the script. We'll say deploy deploy.js, deploy.js, hit enter. So this will deploy our user contract. Hope everything's good. Yeah, everything's good. Simply copy the address and come back to the context, because here we have already not context, component, context and constants, and here we have to provide the address. Hope you guys haven't forgot that. Now come back to the artifact. Inside the artifact we have the ABI of the user contract. Simply drag and drop here, so we can utilize it, move it. So we have in this, and now we can simply import that. So we'll say import user store data, and that's coming from, so we have this user store data. So we have the API, simply grab that one, and that's the API we're going to pass it here, dot ABI. Make sure to do these changes, these values. Now simply close this one, close this one, and things will work fine. Close this all files, and now we can initialize our app. So come here, we'll type npm run dev, hit enter, open into a local host, and here you can see everything is working fine. We have no errors in our applications. Let me do the console log and let me show you. So if I come here and if I see in this, you can see everything's working fine. We can reload the browser and things look good to me. Now we can do the transaction. So before we do the transaction, let me clear the history of the MetaMask, otherwise it will throw an error. So you can see I have already done this. Click on this and I will clear the settings, go to the advanced. I have to clear this account reset and I have to reload the browser. Now I will go into the pool section, because here we're going to take the inputs from the user. Click on this new pools and come here and do this console. So this is what we have, and now let me show you that the data is coming. So what I can do, come here, come back to the our app, bring the terminal down, and if we come back to the context, so we are already into the context. So what I will do, let's minimize this function. So this is the create liquidity, and this is the function we're going to utilize it now. So now what I will do, I will simply come here, I will say console.log to see the data we are getting or not, and that's all the data we're going to take here. So we're going to simply log the data and then we're going to call it. So let me comment this before we make the actual call. Comment this, let's see if we don't have an error. No, let's come here and you can see we have no more error. So if I come here, if I click on this, and if I come here, you can see this is the 3 token we have created, Ryan, Schwab and Pop. So everything is working fine. If I click on Schwab, and that's Schwab is there. If I click on this Pop, so I can create a liquidity in these 2 tokens, and you can see the token data is also got updated. I have this much Schwab and I have this much Pop. From here I can easily able to select the fee. So I want to go with this 3% because this is the recommended in the industry. You can see the name and the symbols are displaying. So here I'm going to take this, let's say 5 for 50,000, both the token. So this is the token, and from here I have to set the minimum maximum price. So if I pass this 1, I'll go with 1 because this will be always in the range. And if I click on this add liquidity, and here you can see I got the data. So somehow I didn't got the data of the token, so but I got the data of the fee, price, and the slippage and the time. But let's see what's the problem I'm having in this, why I'm getting this undefined. If I click one more time, still I'm getting the same data. So that's the problem we have. So the problem, the data is coming from the, we have the context. So we are providing these data, amount 1, amount 2. So the data is coming from the pool page. Come here, go to the pool page, and here we have that, and here we are calling the function. So where it is, okay, we have written so many things. So we have the token 1, so we are not getting this data somehow. So what I will do, I will simply come here and save it, and let's try to make a call. And you can see the price, the token balance is also displaying on top here of the 2 token. You can do on a mobile device, you can hide it, but you can show it as well. So if I click on this add liquidity, and still I'm getting this undefined, why it's happening like that. So if I come here and somehow the token data, is not coming here. This token 1, token 2, so let's not coming. So we have to go into the search component. So let's scroll down. This is the search component we have, and here we are sending token 1. Here we are sending token to. So let's go into the search component. We have this tokens, we have this token, we have that. Come here, and here we are taking that. So we are taking this address, we are taking this. So it's look fine. I don't know why it's not getting it. So we have this, taking this information, this balance and the addresses. So if I call it one more time, I'm not getting the amount as well, this amounts. Okay, so let's come here. So this is the address one, copy that, and if I come to the add pool, there I'm sending the data. Address amount on, sorry, it's address. This become address 1, address 2. Okay, address 1, address 2. We have the fee, and if you come to the context, we have said amount 1. Maybe this is the issue. So that's what we have here, and I have the slippage deadline. I'm getting this, I'm getting the price, I'm getting the fee. So I'm getting all these 5 data, but I'm not getting the input data. So these 2 data is not coming, and these 2 data is not coming. So if I come here, so if I do this console.log, and in that I pass this token 1. If I open this one, so right now you can see I have this data. So somehow the image is undefined, not a big deal. That's not what I want. So inside that I have this token address. So token 1 can the, so working fine. So I can come here, we have this token 1, inside that paste, and we'll have the another one. That's how I'm accessing the data. Do the same thing for the token 2. This is the token 2. If I simply grab this one and if I pass it here, and let's see what data I get. I'm getting address. That's weird. So I'm getting the address, but why it's not working here? That's right. Now what happens, let's reload the browser. Let's reload the browser and let's try to set it. Click here. From here we can select the token. I'll go with swap. I got it. I'll go with this pop. I'll got it. Here I will set the 1%. Here is the display balance. I'll go with 200. I'll go with 200. For here the pricing is going to 1 and 1. And from here you can easily able to set the slippage, but I'm going with the default slippage value, 20% and 10%. That looks good, and I will click on this, and this time we have the data. You can see we got this, and this price is undefined. Okay, let's see what's the problem we have. Now let's come here. So it's working. There may be some little issue into that. So let's come here, save it, and this data, all the data is coming, but the only problem we have in this last one. Okay, so this one is a 2. Okay, that's got it. Now reload the browser. Let's test one more time before we make a call exactly. So click on this, select the token Ryan, select the token Schwab, select the pricing. This is going to be 200, 1, and click on this, and boom, this time it's work. You can see we got the 2 token address, we got the fee, we got the pricing, we got the slippage, we get the time, and we got the tokens. So things are looking good, everything's working fine. Now the transaction will happen. So close this one, close this one, close this one, And here we are. Now we can simply make this happen. So let's make the transaction. So come here, come to the browser and reload the browser. Reload the browser. Click on this. Here we have to select the two token. So before we do that, we have to make our MetaMask history clear. Otherwise, it will throw an error. So let's do it, because I was encountered this error a lot of time, and that's why I know it's going to fail. So if I click on this, I can come here, I can select the two tokens, pop the two different tokens we have. Let's select the fee. This is the fee, and I want to assign, let's say, 1,000, equal amount of liquidity. Set the price to minimum price 1, and maximum is going to be 1 also, because I want to keep into the range. So fix 1. Click on this, and here you can see the MetaMask got open. Here we got the details, and here you can see we are initializing our create and initialize pool. It is necessary. Click on this confirm, and here it's got failed because we have to do the changes. So it's generally happening, there is no problem in the code, it's happening because of the sometime we have to restart the application. So I knew it was coming. So come here, close this one, close all these open files, and that looks good. Okay man, come on. Now we have to restart the application because sometime it's happened. Clear the artifact, clean, stop the application from running, and here we have to simply start the local blockchain. Now we have to initialize, deploy the contracts. So first thing is going to be our Uniswap contract. Hit enter. I guess the address should be the same. So let's see, the address are same. Yes, we got the same addresses. So let's deploy the token, and the token addresses will be same. Yes, it is same, the address. Now we have to deploy the simply our deploy script, and let's see what was the address, and the address is same, so we don't need to do any changes. Okay, now we can start the application. npm run dev, click on this local. Here you are. So this is nothing problem with the code, it's happening because of the RPC URL, and sometimes it caused by MetaMask. Okay, so there is no problem we have in the code, and that's you have to keep in mind. So make sure before we do the transaction we have to clear the account history, and that's why I keep clear my history. You can see the transaction went fail, and here we have to call not the contract, here we have to call this, and the transaction wait. Come here, and now we can make a transaction. Come here, we can pass the no, not this. So we have to go into the pool section, create a pool, do the side by side so we can see what we are working on. Now we can simply select the token, this one, select the other token, we can select the fee, so we'll go with this 3, select the amount, so we'll go with 200, we'll go with 200, and here we can select the min and max, so 1 click on this, enter. The data is working fine, we have the data, and just wait, it's look fine to me. Click on this confirm, and boom, here you can see right now we don't have error. So sometime it will throw an error. Make sure to restart the application, clear entire artifacts, and everything will be fine. So here we are giving the permission to Uniswap smart contract to take our token, so click on confirm, and here you can see this is the second one we have, because we have 2 tokens. So this will again we have to give the confirmation of this Ryan token, so click on confirm, and it will have another contract. This will create the you can see we got the data, and here we are calling this mint function, so it will make the liquidity. Click on this confirm, and we'll have one more pop-up, and this pop-up will store the data of the liquidity we have created. You can see we got the transaction log, transaction went successful, and here we are interacting with the contract to store the data into our smart contract about this liquidity. Click on this confirm, and boom, the transaction went successful. If you click on this MetaMask, you can see, just wait, you can see the transaction went successful. We have called this all method: initialize, approve, mint, and creations. Now if you want to see that whether the data is gone, so we can find that very easily. So we come here, and here we're going to display, and here we are displaying all the liquidity. So if we come down, go to this, and remember this is the component we have. So we have this connect component, and in that here we have comment this. So we're going to simply uncomment this because we have the data right now. You want to expand this, and things looks fine. Come here, and you can see here we have an error, and this error is happening into the token.list, and here we have this dynamic block. This is the one we have the div, and then we have taken this, and it's better to do one thing. So we're gonna simply close this one, and we have the data. Simply close this one, and if we try to console log out, console.log, and we see that what data we are getting. So right now we have one liquidity we have created. Simply come back to the browser, and if we do the console log, you can see the data we are getting. You can see this is the one data we have in. If we click on this, this is the one data we have. This is the entire data we have. So in this we have this example, in that we have all the data. So we have the factory fee, the liquidity we have provided, this much liquidity, we have the max liquidity price. So all the data is working fine. So let's come here, make it side by side so we can see what data we have to assign. So let's come here, we can see that. Let's expand this, make it zoom a bit. So here we can see, so we are token list, in that I am accessing this data. So example, so this is the name I have given. Simply copy that, and that's what I have to say here. I'm going to select all. I'm going to replace that with this, replace this all. So no problem, we have into this. Now if I open that, if I open the pool example, inside the pool example I have with this bunch of data. So I try to access this account number 2. So this is the one inside the pool I'm accessing. Grab this one, copy, and that's what I'm accessing. So I'll select this, and I'm going to simply paste this one. So maybe there is no spelling mistake, so that looks fine. Now I will access the token number 1. So simply copy that, and here I have the token number 1. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to paste it and replace it. So no more error. We have inside the token we have the name. So we have the name, and in name we have called that. Name is working fine. Now we have this pool example token name is working fine. This one also good. Now we have the fee. So we have this array, and we have accessing this fee. Looks good. Now we have the highlight. No, this is the range, and here we have the price, min price. We are not displaying that. Here we are getting the token name, first and second, and here we are getting the price. Here we have the token name, this and this. So things look good. I think we have no more issues in here. So let's try to uncomment this, save it, and yes, we have an error. So this is the problem I'm getting from here. So why it's saying wrap it, and come here, and we have to wrap this. Bring it inside. Okay, my bad. So actually I forgot to wrap this one. So make sure you do this, make sure you wrap this and this, and now it's working fine. So if you make it on full screen, you can see, simply come here and bring it this side by side and close this one. This looks good. Now what I can do is come here, and here we can do the changes. So right now here we have done something wrong. So if I say that if we have account, then we display this, but if I say that if we don't have account, then we want to display this, otherwise we don't display this. Save it and come here, and reload the browser, and you can see here we got the data. Here we got the data. So if we click here, if we go back here, here you can see we have the data. We have the name of the tokens, we have the 2 token owner, and the fee right now is 3000, means 0.3%. And here we have the price range. Right now we are displaying the hardcode prices because I forgot to, because we have to remodel the data. So right now you can see we are getting this data, and in that we have all the data we have, this price, liquidity, and that's what we're going to display. Or you can display any data. So bunch of data is there, you can display whatever you want. So it's working absolutely fine. You can create as many liquidity as you want. So if I click here, if I come to, I will hop, and if I want to create with let's say Schwab, so these are the 2 token I'm taking the fee is going to be this, and I'm going to have this, let's say 500 and 500. Here I have selected the fee. Here I'm going to select the price, so 1, and this will become 1. And if I click on this, add liquidity, here we have the pop-up. Now it will first create our pool address, and I guess the transaction went failed. So I know why it's failed, because of this transaction went failed. I have to simply go to the advanced and do this, and simply reload the browser, and now we'll have no issues. So if we come here, we have created between Schwab and RAN. Now we create a different token, so we'll take this one and we'll say pop, and we'll say Schwab. So these are taken, we have taken. Now we have to take this one, hide 1, and I will go no minus. Okay, this is the one fix we have to do, not into the minus, and we'll say 400. We have to say 400, and this will become 400. We have to set the amount, click on this, add liquidity, looking fine, simply click on confirm, and let's see, the data is getting, and the transaction is getting failed, because I was stopped the application for a while, and again the RPC URL is creating problem, and MetaMask is creating problem to make the transactions. So application, there is no problem in the application. The problem we have in the RPC URL and MetaMask. So we can select the fee, because I was stopped the application for a while, so that's why we're having the problem. We are getting the data now, just wait. We have to make the confirmation, so click on confirm, and here you can see this time it went through. So sometimes it will have the problem. Okay, so this is nothing but MetaMask problem. So let's provide this one. So we have the one more one, and here we're going to just wait. We have to do the confirmation, and here we have the final. Actually we'll have one more. Altogether we have 5 pop-ups, and in the final one we're going to store the data in the liquidity, in the user data, and click on confirm, and the transaction went through. So if you reload the browser, the transaction went through. If you cut this, and if you come back to the pool, if you come here, you can see we have the 2 token. So the Ryan and Schwab and Ryan, we have 1, and we have Schwab and pop-up. This is the fee. It's in range, so it's looking absolutely fine. Now the only thing we have left is we can come back to here. So this is the final thing we left. So right now we can only swap token between ETH to other token. Right now you can swap with this. You can check the balance here. You can see everything is working fine. The updating is happening. So with this function we can only swap from ETH to any other token, but we have to make it multi-hop. So we can swap with any token, whether it's include ETH or Ryan or Schwab. So with this I'm ending this video. In the next video we're going to build that functionality, and after that the project is over. If you still have any error, any doubt, the code is provided in the GitHub repo or in the article. Make sure to join and get it from there. So let's move to the next video.